PLD Projects presents Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast featuring PLD and Matty Gunner. May the Force be with you, always. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another exciting episode of Holy Snokes, a Star Wars podcast. We got a two for today, two for Tuesday, although it's Wednesday. I am PLD. I am your host. With me, as always, my compatriot, Mr. Matty Gunner. How are you doing, my friend?
Tuesday. That's a good deal that Domino's do every Tuesday. You can get two pizzas for, I think it's like $10.99 or $12.99 now because of inflation. I'm not okay for numerous reasons.
Okay, all right, fair.
Number one, I hate this show.
Holy Snokes or Bad Batch? What do you?
Bad Batch.
Okay, fair. Okay.
I hate my co-host of this show.
That's fair.
You and I have got some words that we need to have, and I warned Ken Knapsack of this. I defended you in that I said that we both agreed that a hot dog is not a sandwich.
Correct.
Then you and Ken, who has been a guest in this very country, have the audacity to slander my country's name and our love for hot dogs.
Love for hot dogs?
Just because yours are made of beef and they are pumped full of steroids and they are like, God knows what is in them.
America, fuck yeah. I
agree. And most would say America, fuck yeah. But you two have drawn a line in the sand. Let me I'm gonna pose because Ken watches us when he plays Madden.
Yes.
Ken, Mr. Knapsack, sir, I have a great deal of respect for you. We have worked together. We are close friends. Those upper crust sandwiches that you love so much, the country that you want to move to so bad, the country of France, those sandwiches are in a baguette. What is a baguette if not a crusty hot dog bun with a little bit more class on them? So are your beloved upper crust sandwiches really sandwiches?
Wow, the gauntlet
sir.
Has been
you have
thrown.
An open invitation to curse my name on your show.
Wow.
To come on this show and curse my name directly to my face.
Wow. I gotta ask you, man. France. What is France? I don't even know what France is with hot dogs at this point. Do France even eat hot dogs?
I don't know. I know they're really good at starting riots, so I don't really want to piss off the French.
That's fair.
They have a reputation of always surrendering pretty quick, like they did in World War II.
Wow,
but they're pretty good right now with being pissed off.
They have the most beautiful language that you can say, like the great Eddie Murphy back in the day said, you can say anything.
The Italian hand signal.
You can say anything in French, and it sounds beautiful. Like Eddie Murphy said it best. You could say, like, I gotta take a shit in French, and it sounds like you're saying the most beautiful thing you've ever heard.
I have to take a shit.
It just sounds beautiful. I don't know. But I don't know the
for shit is merde. That is merde. That's kind of beautiful.
It is, and that's kind of like the UK view on hot dogs, I think.
It's because ours are made from pork and yours are made from beef, right? And they're like just pumped full of steroids to the point where they're like that big.
There's chicken dogs, there's beef dogs, there's turkey dogs, depending on what you want to get. Some of them actually have cheese in the middle of it. I know didn't see that coming. That's brilliant. I think we have cheese in the middle of the hot dog.
I didn't know. That blew my fucking mind.
That's a brilliant thing, I gotta tell you. I mean, it's pretty fake and pretty.
So it's like it's like a stuffed crust pizza, but like in the hot dog.
Pretty much.
Holy shit.
That's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing, my friend. So,
but it's you have like beef sausages and turkey sausages. To me, sausages are pork. Like it's a pork. Sausages are made from pork.
No. Let's not go too far here. I mean, we have all sorts of sausages. Every kind of sausage you want. We have pork sausages also.
I know, but like you have like turkey sausages.
we cater to what we need and what we want. And I think that's a beautiful thing.
Is that just your way of saying we make this shit up as we go along?
Pretty much. That's what I'm good at. That's what we're good at. If there's anything we're good at, it's making this shit up as we go along.
Just like we do with these tangents.
That's absolutely true. Speaking of tangents, let's get back to it.
We
are
that's
here.
My open challenge for you, Mr. Ken Knapsack, to come on this show and defend your country.
Mr. Ken Knapsack, of course, from Force Center, good friend of the show, alongside Joseph Scrimshaw, Jennifer Landa, one of our favorite Star Wars podcasts. Well, the gauntlet has been thrown, I guess, Ken. Then you'll have to answer Matty.
He is going to.
I did answer the call. I got to appear on Ken's show, The Blathering, at the end, the live call in there, and that was a lot of fun. I did mention and spoke about the greatness of the tactician we know as Britney Spears. If you want to know more about that, I suggest you check out Ken Knapsack's show.
I will give you that. That was pretty fucking funny.
All right, that's enough hot dog, Britney Spears, tangent talk. Ken, the gauntlet is thrown. You can answer Matty Gunner whenever you'd like to. But let's get into our show today. Obviously, we have a lot of great things to talk about. 2 episodes dropped last night for the Bad Batch. Both episodes, very joyous occasions, make you feel good all the way through. All right, that's a big lie. But we have a lot to talk about for sure. They're both very big episodes, very important episodes, at least character-driven, plot-driven towards the second one, definitely more plot-driven. But a lot went down. It's kind of I left watching these 2 episodes feeling pretty damn poor. I felt really sad, very upset.
I was very angry at the end of these. The first one kind of reminded me of the middle of the Narkina 5 arc of Andor, and then the end of it the second episode reminded me of like the middle part of the end arc, where I was just like, get these fucking imps away from these people.
Well, yeah, absolutely. But before we do that, we are going to break into a little bit of news, very little news, just a couple of pieces. First, of course, is a piece of news that I'm going to tell Matty to read his book, because he is avoiding all sorts of spoilers.
I have a new book this week.
That's going to be a new bit. Every week you're going to have a new book to read, huh?
It's a book I've actually read like 4 times, but for the sake of this news, I'm going to read it again. You're talking about the Acolyte, right?
I do have a piece of news about the Acolyte that does go into a little bit more. If you haven't been to the show before, that like, subscribe, all that good stuff. But Matty's avoiding all information about the Acolyte beyond the trailer he saw at Celebration. Everything else, he is in radio silence. So I will.
So far, it's working pretty damn well. And everyone has been super cool about it. Like, I've been in like a YouTube channel or something, and someone's mentioned like about the Acolyte. People have been like, Matty, duck out. Someone will DM you when to come back in.
It's safe.
So everyone has been super cool. No one has tweeted directly at me about the Acolyte. No one has DM'd me directly about the Acolyte. It just goes to show that not all Star Wars fans, other than the ones in certain live show chats, are pieces of shit.
Good call. We will open up the next week's episode with the "Where is Matty and his Acolyte spoilerage? Is he safe? Is he all right?
Is he all right?
Is he safe? We'll find out. But Matty, I'll be back to you in a minute. Okay.
Yep. Shoot me a message when you're done.
Yep. There we go. All right. Now that we're here, now that we're safe, I can really get into his absolute disdain and have no knowledge of hot dog. No, I'll say that for another time. First bit of news: Daphne Keene actually spoke on her character in the Acolyte. There's a little bit of piece of news there we didn't want to have to hear from Matty. There's one quote in particular that I wanted to keep from Matty, but she did have an interview, and she presented some actually images of her in Pimment Weekly, and she spoke directly about her character. She said, "I say she's a very dedicated Padawan. She's definitely in awe of him in a very kind of sweet way. She thinks the absolute world of him in a way that I think they have a very sweet relationship. But she's much more aware of the authority difference than, for example, Obi-Wan and Anakin. She's very much like, no, he's the master and I'm the Padawan and he's perfect. And everything he says, I have to follow to the T." Interesting points. So basically, it seems like her character is going to be a kind of along the lines of Mace Windu in terms of she's going to follow the rules to the T. She's going to follow her rules specifically. Whatever her master says goes. That's going to lead to some possible problems, I think, whether or not the master is faulty, as all masters can be, or is this a cover? Is this a cover? I just got a lot of things going through my mind. Is Daphne Keene possibly is she coming across one way, but really in reality, she's something else? I don't know, but that's an interesting way to start off. We're starting off with her being pretty much subservient to her master. Very different kind of relationship than we're used to seeing. Where, of course, you're seeing Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon, where Obi-Wan was, questioning. Anakin was definitely more than questioning of Obi-Wan at that point. And beyond all the things, Luke and Yoda, Rey and Luke, they had kind of questions, had some interesting things going on. This seems to be much more of what the High Republic would suggest is a perfect master Padawan relationship. So very interested to see how that plays out in the show itself. It's a very different kind of way, at least visually. So we kind of also got this, I guess you could say we got this in the Clone Wars with God, I'm blanking on their names now. Ahsoka's their friend turned enemy. And her master. God, I'm getting older, guys. I'm sorry, I'm getting older. I really shouldn't do these stuff. Barasafi, of course, that's it. And Luminara on Dully. There, I got there eventually. So that was kind of a similar way to a degree. And we noticed that had some pros and cons as well. So I'm interested to see what the pros and cons are going to be for Jackie's relationship with her master. So going on further, she had a couple different quotes. Talking about Leslie Headland. She said, Leslie is one of the most amazing people I've ever worked with. She's such an interesting director in the sense that she had an innate trust with actors and her crew that makes you trust her more. She's so confident in the people she's hiring, and she has such a broad understanding of Star Wars and of cinema in general that I truly feel like I would follow that woman to the trenches. We had a lot of conversations about Jackie, but ultimately she was very good at being like, this is what I know for a fact, and I'm going to give you space to think about what you want for your character. I'd always run everything past her because she has such a brilliant mind, and we spoke a lot. I was very stunt-focused, so I spoke to her a lot about how she wanted the character to get reflected within her fight styles. A lot of Jackie was created through a relationship with people surround her, so there was a lot of that us talking about what her bonds with the other Jedi are. And I was completely sold from the minute one with Leslie. We hopped on the Zoom call, and she told me there was a mystery kind of thrillery series where you go finding out more and more about the show as the episodes go on. Her whole take on Star Wars felt like if a true fan was writing a Star Wars show, which felt really exciting. And also just a very fresh take. The way that Leslie wrote this mystery thriller was so fascinating to me. It was honestly really fun. I love the whole process of it. Really freeing not having my face. Really nice to show my work and be in someone else's face. Really enjoyable. Completely changed my approach to the character once I was in makeup, and it changed the way I moved and everything. And also having corns on you is actually a safety hazard, so I can't hug people on set, which is quite weird. So a lot of the most important part of this conversation to me is her and Leslie working so well together, and Leslie giving her the room to breathe, which is I like that in a director. Obviously, I think collaboration is usually the best way to approach these things. Actors get more involved if they collaborate. If they feel like they're invested into the character more, they give a better performance. That's what I felt like over the years. And I directed a few things myself back in college. I always like to prefer it. I preferred that method of directing and acting. Obviously, Leslie has her beats that she needs. She has the overall outline of what she wants the character to be, but allowing like Daphne Keene to inflect her own desires and her own interest in it. I think that's good. I think it's good for the show. I think it's good for everything else. So I think that'll do it for the Acolyte talk here, and we'll go on. And I'll bring Matty Gunner back, and let's see what happens. When Matty comes back, we'll discuss everything else in full. Matty, come on back. And to sum up, Matty has no idea about hot dogs at all. And we're going to move on to the next subject to play. Are you back? Matty? Oh, wait, you're muted, Matty. I think you're muted. Oh, there you go. You're not muted anymore. There we go. So,
I have a question for you.
Okay, an answer.
When was the last time you wrote someone a letter?
That's a great question. Probably quite a while. Yeah. 20 years, 30 years, almost 25 years, maybe.
There's a chapter I was just reading on the book. Kojima talks about how certain things are better worded written, so that you can get your context across more kind of better. More better, that's a word. And he just raised the question. He was like, I go through I had a new mailbox put in. I go through my mailbox, and all I ever find in there is bills and junk mail. When was the last time you wrote a letter? When was the last time you received a letter? A handwritten letter from someone?
Yeah, in college. I think college. I had a girl who wrote me a letter when I was in college. It was very nice to get. I gotta admit, it was very nice to get. So, but yeah,
A girl wrote you a letter?
Yeah. Yeah. That's all I can talk about right now. But yeah. All right. Are you ready to move on to
I
the
am
rest
ready.
of the
I'm
news?
ready. I'm ready to move on now that you're done with
Okay.
Acolyte.
There is a small piece of Acolyte news I'm going to mention that has nothing to do with trust. You trust me, right? Okay. The Acolyte visual guide has been announced to come out in January of 2025. What I find interesting about this, I love these visual guides for the show. And DK Publishing, not announced, but there was the announcement hasn't come yet, but it was kind of spotted on a list. I'm happy to see that because what I haven't thought about very much is we didn't get any visual guides for Mandalorian or Ahsoka or anything. We got a little bit of the Dawn of the Rebellion, which has like a little bit of Obi-Wan Kenobi and Andor. We never got these visual guides. We kind of used to get them for all the shows before, I think. So why now? Why are we going back to? Why do we skip the other ones? And why are we going back now? And all I can think is that they have a lot of faith in this.
There is one for the Mandalorian, because I remember it. I remember seeing it on Forbidden Planet. Yeah, the Mandalorian, the Ultimate Visual Guide, written by Pablo Hidalgo.
According to Star Wars Newsnet, they were canceled. Like it was announced but canceled. Yes.
Why is it on Forbidden Planet for £15?
I don't know. Maybe a leak copy here. Maybe it's a pre-order that's never going to happen. I don't know. But yeah, at the point it was ultimately canceled. So maybe this one will be canceled too. Maybe this won't be. Maybe it's something they kind of threw out there. But if it does come out,
I'm going to order one right now because it says 3 to 5 working days. So I'm going to order one, and if it shows up.
Yeah, let me know. I'd be interested to see. Because I used to collect all those when they came out, but I kind of like lost track of them coming out. So because we have a lot of stuff going on now, a lot of shows and content to deal with. So I don't collect many things. Like I'm not a Star Wars figure collector, generally speaking, too much or anything like that. But I do love the visual guides and those kind of books. They kind of keep me happy.
Yeah, the costuming community. I know Mike Forster's going to lose his fucking mind when this comes out.
Yeah, they love those books.
The costume community loves these books because it's like they look at the costumes and they're like, oh, that looks like a empty egg carton container, but turned inside out.
Right.
And I'm just like, how the fuck do you guys like see that? It's like they have like a sixth sense, but like they can look at like something out of a trash heap and they're like, oh, we can make Mandalorian armor with this. I'm like,
right. How do you do that? That's just impressive. It's just impressive. All right. Next up on the news bits there, Bad Batch Final Season Soundtrack Volume 1 has been released on Spotify, Apple, wherever you can go. So I added it right to my Star Wars Complete Chronological Mix. I love it. The Kiners can do no wrong as far as I'm concerned of their score in Season 3. And let's face it, little spoiler, like for these next 2 episodes, they were cooking. The Kiners were cooking Kiners. So get out there and get
them. Are they cooking hot dogs?
They might be the hottest of the hot dogs, American style, definitely. But not much more to say about that, but just something good to come out. I love when the soundtrack comes out. I still wish we'd get, I believe it was Rebels Season 3 and 4 that we never got the soundtracks for officially. Never got them. We got Season 1 and Season 2, and they just didn't give us 3 and 4, and I don't know why.
Probably didn't want to spoil the end of it with the soundtrack like they did with Phantom Menace before the movie even came out.
Qui-Gon's noble end. Spoiler alert, guys. Maybe I don't know. I feel like they should have released it by now. I feel like I don't think it even takes much effort to digitally release it. Don't even you don't have to worry about packaging and things. Just boom, there you go. Put it out there. Get it out there.
Soundtracks with the Lego sets before Lego sets. You know how all the Star Wars Lego kits, every time one comes out, it gives a spoiler.
Right.
The soundtracks with that before. You'd be looking at the track and it's just like, what the?
What the?
That's why I avoided the Dune one. Everyone was the Dune Part 2 one. Everyone was saying, oh, the Dune Part 2 soundtrack, the Dune Part 2 score is amazing. I'm like, I am not listening to that.
I personally don't understand that. I could never really listen to a soundtrack before I saw the movie. I wouldn't want that Because to me, that's a big spoiler. That's just as much a spoiler as watching like a scene to me. Like, because if you can't get the concept of the soundtrack unless you see what it's accompanying, what it was written for. I mean, you can listen to a great piece of music, absolutely. John Williams writes a great piece of music. He writes a great piece of music. Kinder's write great piece of music. They write great piece of music, but I'd rather see it for the first time or hear it for the first time when it's accompanying what it's supposed to be accompanying. So I used to get, I mean, the Star Wars soundtracks did it all the time too. They also they released them all the time. And Williams released episode 1, 2, and 3 before they came out. I tried. I worked really hard not to listen. I'm not going to say I didn't slip and play a few tracks to kind of like hype myself up, but I tried. I was like, I don't want to. Oh, my finger keeps slipping and pressing play. Shit.
And the thing with like soundtracks that use actual artists as well, and this is a real quick tangent, and we're going to get straight back to it. But like, there's certain songs that like I now relate to moments in TV or film that I have seen of bands that I don't like. Like I do not like The Fray, but anytime I hear How to Save a Life, I think of that moment in Scrubs when Dr. Cox's parents are all like dying. Like I hear that song and I watch that scene in my head as the songs play.
Right. Oh yeah. Oh man. I get it. I get the same exact thing. There's songs like that I can't think about the top of my head, but I'm there with you. They basically get hooked onto that.
What's that, brother?
Oh, so good. So good. That's a good one. That's a good solid one. Absolutely. Yeah, plenty of them like that. But either way, I'm excited it's out. I hope I can't wait to get the volume 2. Hopefully the second half season after we're done. But we're almost done. 4 episodes left. 4 episodes left of this series.
Have we got any more double features? Or is it just singles from here on out?
Just singles. Although I still have I'm speculating, and on a responsibility level of about 50-50, I think. I feel like that 15th episode is going to be a double episode.
Or like a feature length.
I won't go that far, but like instead of like a 20-minute episode, it'll be like a 40-minute episode, I think.
Yeah.
I mainly base this off of Clone Wars Rebels. Bad Batch had 16 episodes last season. That's 15 this season. So I think 15 is just basically 15 and 16 in one. I kind of feel like they did this production-wise at the same amount of time. They're putting them together as one. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But that's what's kind of leading to me. But I guess we'll find out. We'll find out soon. Let's see what we got here. All right, finally, last piece of news before we get into the episodes. I call this one above Daisy's pay grade. Someone actually interviewed Daisy Ridley, and you know what? As an interviewer, I think this is a question they should ask, even if Daisy's not going to give you the proper response you want or need. Someone asked her specifically whether John Boyega could return to play Finn in the new Jedi Order movie. Her response was very well prepared, I think. I think she kind of probably got talking to by Lucasfilm and said, if they ask you about this, this is how you play it off.
Can I try and guess what the response was?
Yeah, go ahead.
If I may. It would be great to have him. I'm unsure if his character is a part of the story. I've only seen the something about like she's only seen the main story ideas. She doesn't know who else might be in it. At the moment, she's more concerned with getting reading the script as it comes in. There'll be something about it would be great to work with John again. We had so much fun working on the 3 movies before. Is it something to that effect?
A lot shorter, but yes. Basically,
okay.
She said, quote, "That is above my pay grade." Laughs. "I would love to see that. That's not a decision for me."
Okay.
Fair. I think she definitely has to know by now either way. Because I think she's probably now read the script, I think, because last time we heard from her, she was imminently going to be reading the script. And I got to feel like she's talked to John about this behind the scenes, I'm sure. I'm sure she's noted this. At one point, John Boyega was very much more open to returning to Star Wars. The last time he was asked the question, post meeting with Lucasfilm. So I have a feeling it's going to happen. I feel like that Lucasfilm was holding that close to make a big announcement of it at some point.
And Stephen Knight's now working on his show about the rise of the Guinness Empire in Ireland. So we can assume he's, if not completely done with the script, he's
wrapping up with the first
wrapping it up or moving along. But I just can't wait. Here's what I want actors to do, right? I get
Mm.
being media trained. I get being like media savvy. Give bullshit answers. just like take the Harrison Ford approach and just say anything, whatever comes to your mind. If the next time Daisy gets asked if John Boyega is going to be coming back in the movie, just say, yeah, he's going to be in the movie, but he's going to be playing a completely different character.
I would just have to go, who?
Yeah, or that, or say that he's directing it when we know that he's not directing it.
Right.
Just start giving these bullshit answers just for the hell of it. She seems like she'd be down for a bit like that.
A little fun like that, possibly. I don't know if she has quite the improv stuff. Maybe we'll have to see.
I don't know. She's pretty. She seems pretty witty. I think
smart.
Adam Driver, I think, would be really good with it. He's got that like dry wit humor. Yeah,
the deadpan.
He'd like really sell it, and you'd be like,
"Is he serious?
I don't know. Me?
I don't know. I mean, I can't blame the journalists or whatever. They gotta ask, right? That's part of the thing. They gotta ask the question.
Most of the time, it's the companies they work for telling them
to
ask. Exactly. There's like certain, like from my very limited experience from the music media, that like you're given like set questions to fit into an article because you've only got so many words that you can write to it and only so many topics to go through. So I get it, but at the same time, it's like, what are you expecting? Like a diamond in the rough?
Right.
Like, yeah, we are. You know what? Just for you, lowly podcaster, I'm going to divulge secrets that I've had to sign an NDA for, and I am willing to get sued millions upon millions of dollars and risk my career solely so you can get some traffic to your website. I will do that for you.
Tom Holland, Mark Ruffalo. These people I think they're looking for someone to make a mistake. They're looking for the reaction, and they're looking for exactly someone to slip and say something. Who knows? Daisy didn't. Daisy was a pro. She basically said what she wanted to say. I think read between the lines. I think it's pretty clear that he's probably coming back. Otherwise, I think she probably would have denied it. She would have denied it at that point. She would have been like, "No, I don't believe he is. I read the script. The script I read. I don't see his character in there. So unless something else has happened, then I don't think so. But who knows?"
I think the only one that isn't is Adam. I think Adam's at the minute. Adam seems to be like firmly on the hunt for an Oscar.
Yeah.
So I think
if his character is dead anyway. So I mean, not that he can't come back, obviously, but that gives him an easy out. Oh no, I'm dead.
Yeah, he can go get his Oscar. Maybe come back later on down the line if they do decide to make this a series of films. Come back a little bit later on, but at the minute, I want to see Adam Driver get an Oscar because he's been like shafted way too many times. I thought he was awesome in Ferrari.
Me too. Really did. So, all right, that'll do it for our news bits today. Let us get into these two episodes, episode 10 and episode 11 of season 3, Identity Crisis and Point of No Return. How we do this in Holy Snokes is we go through the episode via segments, go through bit by bit. In this case, because we have 2 episodes, we'll just go segment once and do bits and pieces, except for the few segments that will require someone to do one, which we'll save to the end and just do both. But let's get right into it. The first segment we always dive into on this podcast, Honda Watch, now at 2024. I don't know how long it's going to go, but right now, Honda Watch 2024. Did Hondo Ohnaka make an appearance in the episode?
Who wants to see Honda's book? Talk to me!
It's looking bleak, brother.
Or in this case, episodes. The answer:
this effort is no longer profitable.
Did you say episodes like Mike Tyson?
I might have. I don't know. Maybe I did. I was getting a little sip of water there. Really
quick. It sounded like.
Episodes. The insolence of the writers had not put Hondo Ohnaka in this show or any show in way too long. The insolence.
Insolence. We are pirates. We don't even know what that means.
You've been waiting to use that clip, huh?
I have. I love that. One of my favorite clips of all time. No, he's not in these 2 episodes. they could have used his humor a little bit to brighten up the joint a little bit, but at the same time, probably wouldn't have fit very well in the overall themes. But no, he does not make an appearance in either episode.
Could you imagine a scene where like Hondo is like coming in to steal the child, to get the child away, like to save the child, and then he's confronted by Cad Bane, and then we get Hondo versus Cad Bane, and like Hondo trying to weasel his way out of Cad Bane stealing a child.
I would love that. I would absolutely love that, to be honest, though. It would make sense too, to be honest. This is where you fit him in because, quite frankly, we have his arc with the younglings in Clone Wars. Hell, he named his ship Katuni after one of the younglings. Like him saving Jedi children actually makes sense. It seems like that's his soft spot. If he found a soft spot, that was it, and it would make sense. But that would be a great story point. But unfortunately,
Hondo is like the Wu-Tang Clan. He is for the kids. Wu-Tang is for the kids. Hondo is for the kids.
You know, I don't want to say it. I don't want to like, again, speculating irresponsibly here. If we do have an Asajj Ventress follow-up series, let's say Asajj Ventress is the next series, and our speculation has been about Asajj and maybe Quinlan Vos and Omega trying to get the the Jedi children in the path. I think Hondo could actually be a part of that cast. I think Hondo could be a big part of that cast. He should be. If you're listening to me at all, Lucasfilm, get her done.
This is the one time that I'm like, what's the quote from Falcon Winter Soldier? Like, you're out of line, but you're right.
You're absolutely right. That's right. Absolutely, 100%. All right, that's enough today. I'll get mad if I start talking about the Hondo-less episodes we've had.
I'm about to get mad talking about these 2 episodes.
Yeah, I know you are. So I'm going to try to make myself a little less mad to give you the floor for being mad. Mission briefing is up next.
What do you need, Rex? Any chance I could use you for a mission?
Well, this is mission briefing where we go through the episodes, giving you a little overview instead of not going beat by beat like we had in the past. We're just going to go through some overview of the episodes. And I told you this before I hit record. I found it interesting that like the last time we had a 2-parter or 2 episodes dropped, it was legitimately a 2-parter. Part 1, part 2, they were all part of the same story and it made sense. I kind of was expecting that tonight, or last night rather. And then I got these 2 episodes, which were in no way really a 2-parter. The only really tangent was CX2 learning his being pushed to do further and then what he does. However, thinking about it again in retrospect after watching the second time, thematically they are part 1 and part 2. It's completely connected. The themes of the 2 episodes is just how cruel and evil can the Empire be, and we just get 2 very definitive, distinct answers just from different parts of the galaxy.
We also got 2 punches to the fucking gut.
Yes. Only 2. It seems like maybe more than that, to be completely honest with you, but you're at least 2. But let's start off with the first episode there, Identity Crisis 310. This is a Bad Batch-less episode. No Bad Batch appears at all. No Omega, no anybody. It's just an episode basically on Tantus. I think all of it was on Tantus except for the one. Oh, no, that's not true. The one part we had a young Jedi, or not a young Jedi, I shouldn't say that. A young Force user, a toddler. Yeah, a lot of Force Center toddler. I made the Omega mistake in calling her Jedi. Young Forceling with Cad Bane. Most episode takes place on Tantus and is a really Emery Carr focused episode.
Which I like to give you shit as a co-host and as a friend. I like to razz you a little bit.
Yeah.
You have been on this Emery redemption kind of turning around, betraying the Empire from the dot. And I was always like, nah, there is still a chance that she could stay the path she's going. But it's strongly looking like you were right.
I appreciate that. We are both gentlemen here. We can both tell each other when we're right, when we are. Even we both like to give each other shit.
You trust someone who works for the Empire, and I'm on the side of good. That's fine.
I'll eat some shit later on. I'll be honest with you. I know that's coming, so we'll get there though. But no, I do believe. I think that's actually. I would think that it would be a little bit of a waste if they don't turn her at this point, because I think this episode exists really to push her character in that direction. Now, I'm not saying she's going to go guns a-blazing. I'm not saying she's going to join the rebellion or anything like that. But I kind of have the feeling after the end of this, I kind of feel like maybe she might be the one that does something important. Has a key moment in which she's going to help Omega and possibly maybe get her location out to particular people at some point. But it was good to see Emily Carr questioning things. Good to see her discovering, like, she was kind of like the audience. This episode, we got to go a little bit deeper into the Project Necromancer. It's so strange to me because ever since Project Necromancer has been in discussion, we all kind of know what it's surrounding, what the overall package is, but we don't know a lot of the details. We got a few more of the details today, some which I found quite intriguing, and we got some answers that we had been looking for specifically. We don't know everything, but we learned a lot more this episode.
Here's the thing I learned about it. Like, when we were talking about a few weeks ago about what could potentially be in that vault, we were floating around the ideas of like Snoke being in there, like the proto Snoke, or like Palpatine clone, proto Palpatine clones. They are so early on this process that they don't even have it completely done by the time of Rise of Skywalker. Like, they're still putting the last pieces together by the time we get to the Rise of Skywalker. So this is like early days of Project Necromancer. And it makes me think, like, what are the Bad Batch about to do that puts them on a track that they don't get this thing done for decades after they've like put it, because it seems like they're kind of close. Like, they found the binder, as they call Omega. They've got the kit, the Force sensitive children and everything. Like, it seems like they're this close to getting it done, but yet it doesn't actually come to fruition until decades later. So it makes me think, what is about to happen that is going to completely derail this thing?
That's a great question. It's a great question. My Jack wants to know too. Dog wants to know what's going on. He's very mad at Hemlock. He's very mad at everything going on. Actually, Rice returning home. That's why I was like, oh, he's excited. Anyway, regardless, we'll move on. I will say there's one bit we didn't get, and that is, if you remember correctly, towards the beginning of the episode, we did see Hemlock in front of a door. Now, was that the vault? Because it looks like they went to a vault later on. So it seems like there's a separate vault that she might not know about stuff.
So I looked at the pad, and it had CX Trooper armor on his data pad. So it looks like that's the pool. And he also mentions that the other CX Troopers aren't ready for deployment yet. So I feel like that's the pod where, like, because all their armor looks different to each other. It looks like kind of like a like Empire version of the Bad Batch. Like, each member has different armor. Maybe they have different skill sets. Maybe they're compiled of everyone's together. Who knows? But on his, because I thought the same. I was wondering what that was, so I rewound and like did the what is that? And on the data pad, it had like the CX looking armor. So I think that's the pod where they're like cooking these clones.
That's fair.
That's fair.
I'm glad you did that, because I didn't know. It's kind of like, okay, maybe that, because I was like, that could still be where the Snoke bodies are or something like that. But it looks like you're right then. The big secret is Force users, young Force things that they're working on. And we noticed that because even Emery asked that, aren't there any adults? Well, there's not many adults left with that kind of end count. I wonder why, Palpy. I wonder why. A certain order might have something to do with that. But kids are also more malleable. Kids are also much more able to be controlled, just like Scorch or one of the clone strategy, that they're much easier to control than any adult subjects. But how terrifying, how horrifying, how vile this is. And they don't shine away. Bad Batch does not shine away from how vile this is. I watched this episode and I gotta say, like, I just felt dirty. I just watching it, I felt dirty.
and it also shines like a light on actual political events going on. We see the kids in these like smaller and more third world and like less developed countries like being put in cages, even worse by governments and like the only way we find out about it is through like reporters and journalists.
Right.
It's just like this shit is actually going on, and this is a show that's like trying to show that to children or like younger,
Right.
maybe not children, but like younger people, and it's
Right.
just kind of like this is supposed to be a kid show?
Right. Absolutely. It's like it's very tough to watch. They're very tough to watch episodes. And not only that, we get introduced to three. We see three younglings there. Obviously, the beginning is the episode where we actually see a fourth, and that one's even younger. That's even like a toddler.
The baby.
It's a baby. It's a baby. It's just disgusting. But kudos to the animation and also to child voice actors. I don't know, the voice actor who played Eva was so good, so good at portraying the innocence, the terror, the hopelessness. Everything about it was just it just fit the episode so well.
Yeah.
So we can learn from Emery. Emery gets a little bit deeper into the situation, obviously, and she's we can tell, obviously, throughout her character. And again, kudos to her as well. We see her being affected, but not like overtly like, I'm going to go run riot. I'm not going to go burn the place down yet. But she doesn't like what she sees. And she asks for advice from Nalase, who, of course, every time we talk to Nalase, she just gets slower and slower with her communications.
How many scenes do you reckon we could fit into an episode that, like, by the time Nalase finishes a sentence?
I think Nalase needs an ASMR channel. That's what I think. Because, my God, she would be so relaxing. So relaxing. I did find interesting that the guard was right outside. I guess he wasn't listening to them because obviously he would have been reporting whatever he was saying. He was definitely.
He pulled Daisy Ridley. That's above my pay grade.
That's what it was. Absolutely. Yeah. I don't know. Not me. So go back to the other plan. Let's go back to the beginning of the episode now, as we're kind of diving back and forth a little bit. We obviously get to see some moments of abject violence on the planet with the people. You get to see people feeling oppressed. You have to see the people who are, they don't want to say anything because, like, you have the villagers says, you know what happens. What happens when this happens? This is not good. Just shut up. And we see the freaking Aqualish who just decides to turn someone in, a baby, into a class 1 bounty hunter. Oh, I just was wanting to vomit the whole time.
It's the story of Anne Frank, right? The children hiding and the neighbors turning Anne Frank and her family into the Nazis. You even see the moment, and it's kind of a weird moment where you have Cad Bane, the class A bounty hunter, throws the credits at the guy, and he's just like, "Thanks for the tip." Like,
right,
he's almost like he's disgusted.
Yeah,
the guy sold them out.
Yeah, it's just weird because he's like, I don't think Cad Bane has more moral, but that actually does come across that way to a degree. I get what you're saying. Kind of felt to me like the tale of from the Bible, like Judas getting his silver pieces.
Yeah, that's a perfect description. It's almost like, I'm a piece of shit, but at least I'm not that low.
Now let's talk about Cad Bane. I actually think that it was awesome to have him in this episode in the role he was playing, because there's always a what should I say, danger of, this is Cad Bane. We need to do something really important with him. We need to. And they don't really. He's just playing his role of Class A bounty hunter and getting youngling, and that's it. It's almost like I almost could feel some people saying it's anticlimactic to have him in there. He's in the trailer, and this is all he's going to do. But I actually like that because that just shows the Empire at this point. Cad Bane just doing his job. He happens to be right for the story. He is a Class 1 bounty hunter. He's one of the ones who would be doing this. He just does his job and does it well.
Yeah, they're using these cameos like Asajj and Cad Bane really well because they're not taking away from the overarching story of, like, now we're getting episodes solely about Emery. We're realizing now this is about the clones. This is about the clones as a whole, not just the Bad Batch. Yes, they are the primary focus of this story, but this is about the clones as a whole. Take away the Jedi, take away the bounty. Yeah, you can sprinkle all that stuff in there because it's part of the galaxy, it's part of the lore. But this is the story about the clones, and they're the ones taking front and center stage on this one.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we get some moments, obviously, with Cad and Emery. Cad brings back this toddler or baby to Emery, and she's like even more disgusted at this point. It's like this very deep and dirty thing. But then we go more back. The most important part of the episode comes when Jax, one of the younglings, tries to escape. That's where Emery really sees what's going on. She always has seen what's going down, but she's like never really taking it to heart. She started taking it to heart with Omega a little bit, but then like since then, this is where it really hits her. She tries to,
because now she's the head scientist, right? She's taking over from Alice A.
It's her responsibility now. She is taking over. And obviously Jax gets taken down quickly by the guards, and they say like, there's this definitely war of ideology. One saying like, you don't need to do this. I have this under control. It's just a kid. And of course, the clone's like, he's a specimen and it was trying to escape. I'm following standard protocol.
Yeah,
they're both right. Fuck Scorch. They're both right in their own way. I mean, not they're doing the right thing, but like they're both in terms of what the Empire is doing and what she's doing. This is their own ideologies are now starting to go after each other. But it comes to a head when she tries to talk to Eva about it. She promises Eva, Jax won't get in trouble. And then, of course, the next day comes and Jax is in trouble. Jax is in isolation for 48 hours for a kid. That's rough. And Eva has turned her back on her because now Emery has broken trust. You promised that she wouldn't get in trouble. But at the end of the episode, we do get this moment of greatness. Small moment. So small little bits of rebellion that we have throughout Star Wars. Always a great, pure Star Wars moment. Small acts of rebellion. And Emery, of course, finds the old doll that Omega had. Just gives it to Eva. Doesn't give it to her. Just leaves it on the door. So when the door opens, he sees the doll, and Eva's very excited to get something unique, something new. And you watch Emery watching from far away. And it's like, this is Emery now. She's moving along that path. She's taking those she might never be a gun-toting member of the rebellion. She's not going to be the front line. You're not going to see Emery Carr also in the Battle of Hoth or anything like that. But she'll do acts of kindness. She'll do little bits of things to kind of like go against the Empire. And that's what we need that are just as important as the big acts. The small acts are just as important as the big acts. That's what it is. Let's see. Anything else from this episode that we should?
We're remiss just to gloss quickly over the fact that Tarkin is a smarmy little prick. That he came in and he was like, and I'm going to save one of the moments of this scene because I thought it was comedic gold. But it shows like again using these cameos to like the full potential of the character. Tarkin is the guy that will come in, threaten you, that like do the work, do it right. Otherwise, there's going to be consequences for you that you cannot fathom. And then once the work's done, he will swoop in, take the credit, and be like, look how great I am. Look what I have given you, my emperor. I mean, really, it's Hemlock behind the scenes, like, you motherfucker.
Right.
Look at Krennic with the Death Star, right? This is peak Tarkin. This is what he does.
Yeah. I will say, like, I agree. What's interesting about it, I think this showed Tarkin in almost a newer light in a way, because it's a Tarkin that is not necessarily in control. Like the Death Star saying when he swoops in, takes for credit for that. He was still pretty much in control the whole time. He was in charge of Krennic to a degree, and him just taking credit is par for the course. In this case, I think Tarkin's in a place we have not seen him before. I mean, this is a guy who we saw at the end of episode 3 with Vader and Palpatine overseeing the Death Star. He was in charge, basically. He's the guy in episode 4 who was basically in charge of Vader to a degree. I mean, obviously Vader was outside of, only went so far, obviously, but theoretically, as the hierarchy went, here we are in a case where he doesn't know what's going on. Palpatine hasn't let him in on his path, and he's kind of floundering a little bit. He's trying to figure out, well, I need to know what's going on, but you're not going to tell me. All sorts of threats. And Hemlock, I know some people might say that like Hemlock shouldn't be scared of Tarkin now because he's really underneath Palpatine directly, but I don't think he was scared of Tarkin as much as he knows that what Tarkin is saying is truthful. If he doesn't get it done, then he will be screwed over for life. And it's not because Tarkin will do anything, because Palpatine will do it himself.
Exactly. He's not going to take it from Tarkin because he knows it's like, look, this is for the Emperor. Do you want to be
Right.
the one to tell Palpatine that I'm not doing the job anymore? If you're
Right.
going to keep threatening me, I'll leave. Are you going to be the one to tell Palpatine that the reason that this project isn't going to get done is because of you?
Or I'll go directly at Palpatine myself.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jump up the chain of command.
Absolutely. So, yeah. All right. That's pretty much what the first episode went down. Again, this episode is really more about, I give it 3 things: about tone. It's about it's in a character enhancement episode that I think was necessary for Emery Card. I think it's going to prove to be necessary later on. And I think it's about just the cruelty of the Empire, which makes it go hand in hand with our next episode, which
and small acts of kindness. Small acts that can't be understated as well. There's just small acts of kindness in there.
Right, absolutely. You need some more acts of kindness for the next episode for Point of No Return, which is a big episode.
I hate this episode.
This is the episode we were all kind of fearing. Let's be honest, we were all kind of fearing this one. Ever since Molly Damon pointed out Babu in the trailer.
Molly, why? Molly.
You can't blame Molly. She just saw it.
No, we can't blame Molly. We can't blame anyone other than Dave Filoni, because I refuse to blame Jennifer Corbett for anything. Because I refuse to be part of the white dudes yelling at women on the internet for creative decisions.
Yeah, this was a long time coming. Obviously, the end of part of what we did mention in the last episode, after the Tarkin thing, he did Hemlock did call out to CX, and CX mentioned. We know I should eat my shit now. CX mentioned that he had tracked down a certain Trandoshan.
Oh, I thought we were going to leave this for the bit. Yeah, fuck Sid, because this can tie directly into the start of the second episode. Fuck Sid. Sid needs to die. Like, I've been saying that Sid needs to die. It's very publicly well known now that I think Sid needs to die. Sid needs to be skinned alive, scale by scale. The most painful. I want to see the scene of the CX unit torturing Sid, just for my own pleasure and satisfaction. It doesn't need to be put out into the public. Like Lucasfilm, if you have the models of that scene, like animated, I will give you my email. Just send them to me. I will not leak it. I just need something after today to help me get a good night's sleep.
All right. I will give you that I am off the Sid being redeemed train.
Attaboy.
I am off that. At the same time, there is a little bit of Lando Calrissian here for me. In terms of, if the CX caught up to her, she's not exactly a warrior. She's not a Jedi.
Yes,
she has no power. She's a glorified bartender who's smart on crime. He's not someone who's built to withstand torture from a CX unit or a CX clone.
Very few people are, but to say she's not a warrior, she was handling that energy bow pretty fucking well.
But she's not built like a warrior to withstand torture. So I can't necessarily blame her for giving up information to torture.
No, we do not glorify snitches here.
I'm not praising her. I'm not praising her in any way, shape, or form.
We don't understand them. We do not sympathize with Trandoshan. If it looks like a duck, if it makes a noise like a duck, if it walks like a duck, it is not a chicken.
Out of curiosity, what would it take for Sid to redeem herself?
Death.
Okay, fair.
Isn't there a quote that like only in death can we be redeemed? Isn't that like some Bible thing? Like
that sounds like it. That sounds right.
I don't know. That sounds pretty religious-ish to me.
All right, so gonna get the information from Sid, but they don't actually get the location from Sid. They just get the idea that the Bad Batch have worked with Fee, and so CX supposed to track down Fee.
She sells everyone out, dude. What did Fee do to her?
Well, let's be honest. Like you were saying, sell out. I don't know if she sold out these people.
That's
I think she got tortured. She sold them out the first time by accepting money for it. I don't think she got any money this time.
Right, if the CIA and the FBI were torturing me for information about you, my lips are sealed.
You're a warrior, though. You're someone who could.
No, I'm a good person. I'm just not a snake, and well, in this case, a lizard.
All right. Well, your case on Sid is well thought out, and we know your stance.
I'm just hammering it home.
Yeah, you're good to go. Consider it hammered. All right, so we lead. So basically, CX does trace down Fee, and if the theory that one of those prevailing theories that Tech is the CX, or Tech is the CX is a clone of Tech, or whatever it is, it does make this scene a little bit more intriguing, where he tracks down Fee, gets onto her ship, and they almost have the connective tissue at that point. But they don't, and I think that's actually good. I'm actually glad that died without Fee giving him up without giving him up. It does make her a little more forgivable for sure.
I would also think that if that was Tech, he would know just to go straight to Pabu. He wouldn't have to track down.
Well, that's what I say too. But I guess clones don't have the same memory per se. I don't know. I get it. I am going to say right now, prediction. I'm going to Force Vision aside. I'm not using this as my Force Vision. I think CX is nobody.
Yeah,
I think CX2 is
just like Merrick.
Exactly. That's what I think. I expecting nothing else. If it is something else and it's well written, I'll listen to it and I'll exactly thumbs it up. But right now I'm going to go with nothing. So, all right. So Pabu, I like the fact that we get Pabu, and even though there's a sense of urgency with the batch trying to ship things up, it does have that great sense of idealism. Like they're villagers, they're getting snow cones, they're feeding Batcher, everything is all kind of like perfect. It is really the calm before the storm. And one of those calm moments, one of my favorite moments of both episodes, Omega goes to Liana, her only real friend her age, outside of Hera, but that was really kind of a brief thing. And she's going to leave treasures in the treasure vault, leave some things behind to make her mark there. And what does she leave? Text goggles.
Learn text goggles, which is, to me, strengthens the strength.
What really does for me, it showcases, and what this whole episode does, and this is just a brief moment of it, the maturity, the maturing of Omega. It is amazing to me how much she has matured between the end of last season and now. She really is a leader.
Yeah, she's not the, we're going to see this a little bit later on, but she's not the little kid. But what I was saying, sorry, before my dog started going ballistic, was also to me that scene where she's laying the tech goggles on the altar and saying, this is the first place that we felt like home. If they did that and they brought back Tech and he was one of the CX clones, that moment to me would be a little bit tarnished. Of like the emotional weight put on that moment of like, I am laying this part of my life to rest, like I did my brother.
Right.
It would, I can't lie, it would take some of that away if Tech was to just show up there like, hey, I'm not really dead, I'm just a bad guy now. Like the emotional weight of that, and there could be some emotional weight to like, like, oh, you turned on it, but like the emotional weight of like Omega leaving this part of her life behind, leaving this idea that she is just a little kid that they saw that was following them around on Camino. Now she's a young woman who can take care of herself, and she is, to me, that was the symbolism, because you had her leaving Lula there as well, the child's plaything. She's leaving them there, and she's just like, that part of my life is now over.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say, and a looking at it from a different angle, some people might have argued, some people I've watched argued that she brought the goggles there to kind of like keep Tech in mind, so that when the reveal happened that it's Tech, it's more powerful. I don't know how it would work. It depends on how it works. So but again, I still gonna hold true to my theory, but it is a great moment. She starts leaving, CX shows up on the planet, and we have this great moment. That's where it all really goes down really quickly. Hunter notices something's off. We're going to hurry things off, but sure enough, we get this big CX takes out, and RIP. The Marauder is no more. Big moment.
Huge. Like that is their home, and it just got complete. At first, I thought he was shooting trackers onto it. He shot the first one. I was like, oh, is he shooting a tracker? Oh no.
Oh no.
No. And then like we get the big explosion, and thankfully Wrecker saved Gonky. But dude, for a few minutes, for like 5 to 10 minutes, my heart was going. I was like, not Wrecker, not now, because like we've talked about, and I still believe that I don't think the Bad Batch are going to make it out of this show.
Right.
But my thing was like, not now. Don't do it now. Not before they take on the Empire. Let Wrecker have his moment of like big. If there's one character that deserves to go out like massive minigun, like Terminator, like Predator style, it should be Wrecker.
Fully
Let him have that moment.
100%.
And when I saw him like just laying there in the water, I was like, no, don't do it now.
I kind of wondered that myself at the same time, because like he had this setup. We have like obviously at his moment in the beginning where he's like, I can't get this. Go give me 2 snow cones. It felt like we're gonna give you a little bit of montage of Wrecker's greatest hits, and even him and Gonky go at it back and forth. And even though he goes at it with Gonky, say threatening to leave him there, he grabs him on the way out and everything else. And I was like,
I love that moment. He was like, "Who's to say we don't leave you behind?" And what's the first thing he grabs when it blows?
He grabs Gonky. Absolutely, that showcases what he is, who he is. The fact that he runs with him, and I'm like, because this episode just felt heavy. This felt like weighted. I'm like, this would be a place where a writing room might decide to take someone out to kind of emphasize how heavy this is. So I was with you for a few minutes. I'm kind of like, I don't know.
And choosing Wrecker as well, it's like, we're going to take out the biggest and the strongest one, just to show you that no one is safe from the Empire, not even Wrecker.
And the one who, I hate to say it, I really hate to say it, but I think you kind of said it in a different way, is kind of the most expendable of the bunch at this point, because if anything, in her maturing, Omega's maturing, she has kind of matured past him. He was like the first level. Like she loves all her brothers, but like back in the day when she was a kid, he would take her and get chow with her. That'd be like their little thing. But now she's kind of with Hunter and Crosshair being the two people she's like kind of like learning more from. It feels like that he is the one that she kind of afforded. So she was like level 1. He was like level 1. He's done with him. In that case, now she's got to graduate from her 2 dads left at this point.
Yeah.
So it would make sense, as much as I would hate it, because I love Wrecker. And if Wrecker is going to go, he better get a big, exactly what you're saying.
Going out on the Zilla Beast, baby. That's how he's going out. Riding the Zilla Beast up the hill from the Canis. That's how he's going out.
I love it. So at this point, all right, we already know like Crosshair is the best. Ships don't just blow up. We've been compromised. They send Wrecker to get patched up by EZ. And Hunter and the Crosshair have a quick decision to make. Hunter's going to go try to grab as the gunships start coming in. What a great shot that was, by the way.
I thought it was Palpatine at first.
So did I almost like, oh,
like the shadow of Palpatine. I was like, oh fuck, no, he's not here.
Right. Even so, the Star Destroyer itself was the lights were just like, and watching Hunter like slowly turn in the shadow and like,
oh, what a shot!
Oh, it's a great shot. Such a great shot. Now, probably gunships start coming in. Reminders of what they used to be. Those are like the old Republic gunships that we used to root for, watching the Clone Wars. Just love seeing them come in. Not anymore.
Now we're like, oh no.
So decisions are made. Hunter's going to go try to grab a gunship while Crosshair and Omega retreat to where Hunter is, or to where Wrecker is, could be taken. By the way, that was nice way to have those 3 clones back in action there. Once for a couple episodes back.
Oh, the young lads, yeah. They wear like proper Hawaiian shirts as well.
I loved it. I love that. That's what they're retired to at this point. You would think they were retired to. And oh god, now at that point when that mission starts undertaking, like we have CX2 leading all these squads in, and it's like it is exactly like it's like Andor. It's the end of Andor, where occupation is real, baby. It's real, and they're starting to kick people down. They're starting to like take people out. They're disrespecting Shep. They're disrespecting all the people. They're taking things out. They're about to torch things at one point. And here we go, Omega, and CX has a great interaction with Shep, talking about things. He's very cold, very cruel, but very true to himself. And Omega and Crosshair are kind of hiding, waiting for Hunter to do his thing. We have a couple of good things with Hunter there, Hunter and the gunship parts. A lot of cool things to talk about there. I think we might save that for part of the action beats here. And then we get Crosshair and Omega and Batcher running off on his own and on her own, trying to take out some imps.
My heart. I was like, because you don't see the shot, but like you see the stormtrooper shooting at Batcher, and you're like,
yeah.
Please tell me that was like the stormtrooper missed this time around. That wasn't just like a really good stormtrooper.
Right. You better not have that. Dave, you better not touch that dog. Don't touch that dog.
Then, luckily,
she was back and she was okay.
She was back.
The best part, and one of the best parts of the episode now, is Omega really takes charge. And she's watching all this go down. Like it starts out like she's like, this is my fault. And they're like, no, it's the Empire's fault. It's not your fault. But she can't divide it up in her. Like in her mind, it's her fault. And she even says that I can't let this happen. They're hurting them. They're taking their homes because of me. And great sense of dread the entire episode. Like shows in general don't always do a great job at this. They kind of like they want you to feel something, but they don't really earn it. In this case, where CX is just so cold and so cruel, and he has the great concept. They're burning all the skiffs. They're burning all the ships, destroying all the ships. There is no escape. That oppression is there. There is no escape for them at this point. And like the only way out is exactly what Omega says and does. Steps up to Crosshair and says, the only play we have is for them to take me. And I love Crosshair's response because he knows it. He actually agrees with it, but he can't say it. He can't. He's like he
reminded me of Tech in that moment because he was like that. What's this? The first thing he says is like, "That's not a viable plan." Like that's right. He was probably like in his head going through right all the plans that Tech taught us about. That's not one of them.
And he said, and he's like, "They're going to take you back to Tantus." Well, I know, and she's like, "I know," and so they have this like Hail Mary plan. Going to give the comm, and also Crosshair's going to try to shoot a tracker on the ship. And other ship takes her away. Hunter fails in his mission. Obviously, he does a good job. What a great moment that is! But we'll get to that as well. I'm going to save that moment. Hunter and Batcher reunite. Omega turns herself in to CX. CX grabs her, takes her away. Crosshair is about to do what he's supposed to do when he gets interrupted by some stormtroopers. Gets a little tiff. Gets out of it. Shoots the tracker, and misses. Doesn't he miss? It's not his fault. It's not gonna miss like it's fault. It's not his hand shaking thing.
He was too far away.
He was too far away because the stormtroopers intercepted him at the time. He had to get with them. By the time he fought them off, he couldn't get the ship.
I mean, even looking at how the tracker was like going forward, I don't think he was going to make that. I think this is a whole this is a part to play on his confidence and be like, even at my best, I still missed. If you look at how the tracker was shot, it just went up and then it went straight down. I don't think he was ever going to make that shot. I think this was like a predetermined, destined thing that Omega was meant to do. And that is now going to play into the confidence of Crosshair. And he's going to be like, even at my best, my hand was ready. I wasn't shaking. I knew what I needed to do and I still missed. I think he's going to have a realization moment and he's going to have that moment in his head where it's going to click and he's just going to go, you know what? I can do this. And he's going to make that crazy shot that he made in the Clone Wars.
That's an interesting take. I actually took it a different way. I think that he could have gotten it as long as the ship had been not taken off. Like if the ship would stay where it was and not taken off, he could have done it. But the fact that the delay made the ship take off and go, it went too far. Although, quite frankly, it's kind of interesting the way they write this. And I think it was a brilliant way they wrote this. Is you almost expected him to get it because you expect him. Like goes to the thing where he's the sniper. He is the best of what he does. He has his confidence shaking, and the whole third season has been about kind of finding out what's wrong with him, gaining his confidence. You feel like it's going to lead to this moment. He needs to make a shot to save Omega, and he does. What happens though? He needs to make a shot to save Omega. He still doesn't. It's something you don't expect. It's a nice subversion of expectations. But I do.
Yeah, I kind of saw it as like the final test. But this is the final test of his confidence. He's going to be like, I missed when it mattered the most. I don't know if I can do this again. And then he's going to do it.
I agree to a point where I think that at this point we will still see that big moment. I'm not sure what it's going to be, but we will see that big moment where he needs to make a shot. And it might be the finale, probably be the finale or the episode before, something really close. And he's going to come through. I think he'll even see his hand. He'll look at his hand before. I think he'll look at his hand before he does anything. Instead of shooting and then going like this, he'll kind of look at his hand and be like, "You're with me on this one."
He's going to headshot and hemlock from 100 feet away.
Something like that. Could be. Could absolutely be. Yeah. So I like that. I think it's going to be a cool thing. But that's where we end. And of course, Omega is on her way back to Tantus. There is that moment, which we should probably talk about. It's definitely made its waves. I think sometimes people look into things a little too much, but, maybe not. Where she does fall into a little bit of a meditative moment. And it might have just ended in her centering herself as far as where she is. Or was it a last-ditch Hail Mary kind of effort to tap into her M count and reach out?
I'm going to go with the form. I think I'm going to think it's a way for her to center, because I think I now see why they did where they included the line in the Asajj episode of "I'm a Jedi," because this is this sacrifice is the most Jedi behavior that I've seen in a while from this. But more than any Jedi I saw in the Jedi Council in the prequels, of her openly giving herself and being like, "Look, for the greater good, I will give up my life for this. I have my trust in my brothers to get me out of this." And I think this was just the moment of her centering herself, because she knows what's about to come. And she's just like, "Look, I've made this choice. I need to be prepared for what's about to happen."
I fully agree with you there. I fully agree. I do think that this is going to be that. If it does end up being something else, I will be okay with it. Depending on how it's written down, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Asajj coming through towards the end. I don't see anybody else, so it'd be Asajj or nothing, because that's why you would introduce Asajj. But I think it was honestly a sign of maturity, a sign of adulthood, a sign of I am no longer the kid. I'm no longer the kid. I'm sitting here. I made the point. I made the decision. I turn myself in. I know what I'm getting into. I know what I have to do. I have to do anything in my power to bring Tantus down. If that means I have to go be prisoner again for a bit, then that's what I have to do. So, all right, baby, let's get to it, kind of thing. And I think it's a great character development for her. I love her for it. I loved it for her. So, but again, great episode. But what a downer! Just what a fuck moment in a way. It's like, holy shit, what do we do? What do we do? And that's why
it's going to be really interesting. I don't know how the hell I'm going to grade these.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. You know what? Let's get into our rest of our segments. We got the rest of the segments to get through. That was the mission briefing. Let's go with our next segment, Bachelor of the Week.
I was hoping for the whole squad, but you'll do.
This is where we take our favorite character of every episode, not necessarily a batch member, but it could be. And good thing it's not, because episode 10 did not have a member of the batch in it. Who was your favorite character in Identity Crisis?
I'm going to say it was Jax, because from the moment I saw the camera pan on him a little bit, I was like, this ballsy little kid is going to really give it a go. And then you get the moment he steals the data pad, runs away, lockdown happens, and he's just pleading. He's like, "Look, I just want to go home. You told me it wasn't
right."
Obviously, I was disgusted at first, but it wasn't until Jax restarted pleading that I was like, God, man, these are just fucking kids. And you've even been telling them that they get to go home? Fuck you.
Yeah, absolutely. F off. Agreed in every way, shape, or form. But for me, I'm going to go with the other one. I'm going to go with Eva.
I thought you were going to go Emery. I thought this was your moment that you get to. No,
I did like Emery a lot, and she was
very gracious of you.
As my next guest. Occasionally I show it. Occasionally, I'm Cajun. I'm an adult. But even what I liked about her is I think that she actually brought all the focus home. That performance, her voice was so heartbreaking every time she opened her mouth. Whether she was like the happy, quote unquote, happy moments when she's just like being a kid, like, what's your name? What are we doing? Oh, okay. To the point where it's like, you lied. You said this. We all just want to go home. It was so heartbreaking, so sad, so touching. But it showcased exactly what it is. Everything about the episode, to me, hinged on her. It was the happiness at the beginning of meeting Emery, the sadness, the betrayal, and then the ending, that little moment of hope. It's a little moment of hope, because that's what Star Wars always has. Not only the kindness, not only the small acts of rebellion, Star Wars is about hope. And that's what Eva showed us at the end, that even at the end, not much hope for her, but she still has that small hope, that little straw Lulu doll there that represents so much for her. So I like that, though. All right. How about now we'll go to the episode, Point of No Return. Favorite character in that episode?
I'm gonna give it to Hunter, because he's the kind of the catalyst for this. Like, even in that moment where he's like, it's the Empire's fault, it's not yours. Like, even now he's still trying to like be the dad and protect the little kid. Like, she's still this young girl that they met on Camino, and she's not wrong. Like, per se, it's not her fault. But she is the reason that this is happening. She is the reason that they are there, and she realizes it. She has that self-realization of, this is because I'm here. So I need to, from the beginning, from the first episode where she gets taken by Cad Bane, like, she doesn't want to end up in the Kaminoan pod and all of that. And now here she is facing her fear of going and becoming that, like, head on. And she's just like, look, this whole time we've been running from this. I'm not gonna do it anymore. And I think I sound like I should be giving it to Omega, but I'm giving it to Hunter, because I feel like that was like him saying that, being like, it's not your fault. It's okay. It's the Empire's fault. I feel like that was the catalyst for her to be like, you know what? Screw this. I'm not a little kid anymore. This is my responsibility to bear. So I'm going to go handle my business.
I like that. I like that a lot. And lets me pick Omega, actually, because that was actually my choice. I actually had two choices as well. I'm going to give a special honorable mention to CX2, because after getting his ass kicked the first time, he really showcased just how amazingly badass he can be, and amazingly badass he is, and what a great villain he was in this episode. Cold, cruel, it was so perfectly Imperial, more than some other Imperial villains I've seen. I like what he's doing. I like the fact that he is a good foil for them, for the batch specifically. He is very competent in what he does. But to me, this episode is Omega. We are Crosshair. Yeah, the audience is Crosshair. We're trying to hold on to Omega. We're trying to hold on to Omega as the kid. They're like, no, Omega, no, it's not your fault. No, we can't lose you again. We have to protect you. You're our kid. And like you said, Omega is like, no, I'm not a kid. I'm not a kid anymore. I have to accept responsibility. I have to do my job. And my job right now is to protect this island, no matter, even if it means sacrificing myself. And she stands up there, ready to go, mature as fuck. And I think that Omega is easily my character of the week, my Bachelor of the week. So, all right, let us move on to our next segment, we call I Spec.
The ability to speak does not make you intelligent. Now get out of here.
Favorite lines of the week. I'll go with this one here. My first response to this was actually Cad Bane.
Okay.
Asking questions like that, you give away more than you think.
That was a good one.
Smart. He is smart. He realizes what's going on even more than Hemlock and the Empire does, that she's questioning things at this point. But also at the same time, it's a good warning. It's a good warning for Emery to maybe I am giving away more than I think. I better keep this close to my chest before I give away too much. It's a great, well-delivered line, worth the cameo of Cad Bane.
And I also think it's like, Cad Bane is like a dirtbag, period. He's the one that's he's trafficking children for money. Mm-hmm. But it's also like, he's like, why would he give Emery a warning like that. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not saying he cares, but he's just like, look, I'm bringing you these kids. I don't want to know what you're doing with them, because if I found out, I would probably just be like, nah, we're not doing this. But
Right.
I think at the minute he's just kind of like, don't tell me, because I'm going to have to go against everything I stand for if you tell me what's going on.
Good. Creative. How about you? What about your favorite line?
Mine was the quote of, it was an Emery line about how Nalase discarded her. That really hit home to me, because it speaks to like my generation of young people being essentially told, fuck it, figure this life shit out for yourself. Like, and being and essentially like the kids, like the Force sensitive children in there, like they're being let down by people that are supposed to raise and protect them. I think that was something I really related to on a personal level. So when she mentioned that, not only was it like for the whole lore of it, of why did she try to discard Emery, and did Hemlock pick her up? Like, it's more than that. It was like she's part of a generation of clones that were just thrown to the side and said, you know what, figure this shit out for yourself. We don't care about you.
Absolutely. It's a great moment for sure. All right, next up, we'll go with our next segment. Put that in your holo.
Do you ever hear the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise?
Put that in your holocron and snoke it or explore more lore. I'm going to actually go next, because quite frankly, this is something that I am gleaming from what you were saying. I want to know Emery's childhood, because she gave that hint for the first time in this one, because she kind of said they're children, just like I was. And so what exactly is that referring to necessarily? Like, it seems like she went under more experiments beyond maybe being a normal clone. And it would make sense, because she's not a normal clone. Obviously, we don't have any female clones except for Omega. And Omega being as special as she is, what is up with Emery? So let's get the Emery backstory somewhere. I don't care if it's a book. I don't care if it's a comic. I don't care if it's an episode somewhere down the line. What is Emery's backstory? Give it to me now. Sometimes mystery works well for backstories. I think mystery works well for her backstory right now, and I don't think it's a story for this season.
Well, it's the only season we're going to get, so we better figure it out soon.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I think we're going to get it in a different medium, possibly. And I think that's good. I think it's always good to have these like kind of jumping off points to get more content from different areas, whether it's a book or it's a Tales of the something, or maybe in the Asajj series. Maybe we get an episode from Omega and Emery together, trying to figure out who they were. But yeah, that was definitely my explore more lore. How about you?
Tarkin mentioned something about this facility taking up the most of the, I guess, the quarterly budget or whatever it is.
Right.
That he's in control of. I'm just like, what? I know they got Project Stardust, and the what was it? The Dark Saber was one of the projects that was in the data bank on
that's Scarif. Yep.
On Scarif, yeah. So it's just like, if that is the most expensive one, what else have they got? Like, where else are they sending money to?
Absolutely. Good question. I want to know a little bit more about that myself, to be frank. And what is Tarkin doing during this time? Like, at this point,
what is his job? What do you do?
What exactly it is you do around here?
Maybe he just does. Does Iriadu have beach?
Maybe that's what it is. Interesting. I don't know.
His job is bitch.
His job is bitch. There you go. We need a backstory on that. There you go. Can you imagine like Peter Cushing singing "I'm Just Ken"? I want to see it now. I need to see it. That's my new.
I'm Tarkin.
I'm Tarkin. Bravo. Clip it out. Bravo. I'm Tarkin. I almost want to just quit the show now, because that's about. I wasn't going to get any better than that at this point.
That was your laugh at a fuzzball moment.
That is my laugh at a fuzzball moment. Oh my goodness. Okay. Let's move it on to the next bit. Seen a lot of action.
Hear a lot of carbon scoring here. Looks like you boys have seen a lot of action. Hear a lot of carbon scoring here. Looks like you boys have seen a lot of action.
I don't know why it took so long to do it, but hey, what are you gonna do? Seen a lot of action. This is the moment where we figure out our favorite action bits of the episode. This was not a very action-filled episode. My favorite bit, or the only one I can think of, was the Jack's trying to escape. Didn't like it felt like such a kid escape, right? Because like there was no chance. You saw him planning it. You saw him you see him. Oh, I look at the iPad. I can get out that way. But as soon as she takes the iPad from Emery later on, red lights go down, the door is sealed. Like, there's no chance you're getting out, pal.
I was
But
just
yet he
like,
still
dude,
has that moment.
don't do it. It ain't worth it. Just
Right?
I admire your courage for doing it, mate, but don't. You're just gonna make it worse for yourself.
Absolutely. I felt bad for him, but it was a good moment. It actually very much did well for the episode. Really, it did. It showed the best part of the episode as far. It showcased the entire episode in terms of like the oppression, the hopelessness, the desire for freedom, all in one go. So, do you have any other choice there? Do you agree or anything?
No, I think that's it. Let's get on to the juiciness of episode, the action in episode 11.
That's right, episode 11. There, juiciness there. We didn't do the more lore for episode 11, did we? I forgot that.
It doesn't matter. We're pretty good. I think we both established what we want more of.
That's true. That's true. Okay.
Let's talk about the cool moment, Paul. Don't
right.
remind me of this now. You've got me hyped up.
All right, one second. Let me just say there is one more bit of lore from episode 11 I would like to explore more of. I want to see a series of Fee. I want a Fee series. Just the adventures of all the things you talk about with her jewelry with Mel 221, all the different adventures she's gone on. That's a series where Hondo could play a big part in. And I don't want to say just because of Hondo, but I think that she'd make a great protagonist for that kind of series. And Hondo could be a good part of it. That's my thoughts. So, all right, action. Go ahead with your action bits in Point of No Return.
Oh my God. Hunter beat the dog shit. Even I was surprised because he jumped on, grabbed the one clone by the ankle, pulled him down, threw him off. We hit also, I think I heard that new Wilhelm.
Yes, I think that's what it was too.
Yeah, I caught that in there. It was very, very subtle, but I just about caught it.
Right.
He just goes to like you could tell like his character was based off of Solid Snake from Metal Gear, not just the bandana, but like the style, the CQC, like the way he fights is like he would hold his blaster like that. So if someone comes into close range, he just starts elbowing dude in the head, like over and over. And he's like holding onto his arm. So the guy can't break away. And he's just like bang, bang. It's like, Hunter, okay. Like enough. You got him.
My son's reaction was just, damn.
I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, I basically wrote Hunter in the gunboat and everything else. That was my best part. But specifically, the best part about this for me was when CX shoots his pilot, shoots his own pilot to take down the ship right in the neck. It's so perfect. It's why I almost made CX my favorite character. It was just so cold, so perfect. It's the best way to deal with Hunter. We're just going to take out the pilot. No worries. Don't worry about it. Fodder. Boom, goes down. He's like, yeah, there you are. That's
like
CX.
Hunter was like right there.
Yeah.
He probably could have taken out Hunter, but he chose. He was just like, I don't give a shit about that guy. You've got enough gunships. Boom.
We'll crash it, and yeah, there you go. Boom. Loved it. So good. Great. A lot of action. A lot of great action in this one. You can tell there's a lot of great action in this one. So, all right, let's go back to Identity Crisis then. For this is gonna be a tough one. I'm not gonna lie. Definitely.
Laugh it up, fuzzball.
Laugh it up, fuzzball. Not a lot of comedy in these two.
I don't think it is that tough. I thought that was one that was pretty damn funny.
And Identity Crisis. Okay, go ahead.
Have you seen the first Rush Hour movie?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
You know where the agent is like bringing Chris Tucker's character Carter in for the first time, and he won't tell him anything because it's G14 classified.
Mm.
And then at the end, when he's got the terrorist on the phone, Carter's like, I can't tell you, it's G14 classified.
Right.
Hemlock had a G14 classified moment with Tarkin and to even have the balls to say to Tarkin, I can't tell it's classified. And you see the look on Tarkin's face. You're like, are you fucking serious? Like,
Yeah.
you're not going to tell me? Like,
Right.
do you know who I am?
Right.
I thought that was
That's
pretty
pretty
funny.
That was
Watching
pretty good. Yeah, I'll
Tarkin be
give
like, but I know everything.
that. Not everything. Not everything. For me, I'm going to give it to Toto. When he tries
Toto.
to silence the kid, it gives the toddler the stuffed animal. Who's like, surprise! He's like, I did it. All right.
You found that funny?
I did. Only because it was Toto. I think Seth Green always makes me laugh. So anytime I hear his voice, it makes me laugh.
Forget that Seth Green that voices Toto.
Green. Yeah. Every time I hear his voice, it makes me laugh. I don't know why it is, but
it always makes me laugh hearing Cad Bane say it's like Toto. Because it just makes me think of the dog.
Yeah.
From Wizard of Oz.
All right. In Point of No Return, I had a definite fun moment. This is my favorite moment by far, easily. I actually literally burst out laughing in this moment, and it's very unlike any other moment in an episode. Omega. Is that Hunter? Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Cross. Uh-huh.
That was so
crashing.
good.
The ship crashing, and of course it's Hunter and Crusher. Just yeah. I needed that at that moment. I actually needed that in the episode, so I was very happy to have it. Let's be honest. What about you? Any other funny moments for you?
I am so glad you picked that moment. I was so scared that we were going to have the same moment. Utah. Give me 2.
I thought about that one too.
Wrecker essentially doing the Point Break. Give me 2.
Me too.
When he says, bring me back a snow cone. I better make it 2.
I did too. So Hunter or Crosshair is Utah. Okay, good to know. Fair. I don't know.
I think it'd be Hunter. Yeah, Hunter seems like the type to yell, "I am an FBI agent."
I am a clone trooper. I don't know. Republic soldier. All right, anyway. Let's go finish this out. Last 2 bits. We got parsecs.
It's a ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Less than 12 is 11, because we always turn things up to 11 here on PLD Projects. And out of 11, what do you give Identity Crisis out of 11?
I'm going to balance it out because it did make me feel angry and disgusted, but that just shows how brilliant the writing is. So I'm going to balance it out a little bit, and I'm going to give it an 8. It's not because of the quality, but just because of like how it made me feel.
Okay, that's fair. I guess I like to feel it, so I'm going to give it a 10. I thought it was a very well-crafted episode. I love the Emery. I got my Emery bit, so something I've been hoping for a bit. Got to see Cad Bane, a nice little cameo. That was nice for me. The kids were great. Eva was great as far as that goes. It was well crafted. It did what it was supposed to do. Make you feel like shit. Make you feel like the Empire is a fucking bunch of douchebags. Again, it sets it up. Sets you up to want that Tantus to go down. And it sets you perfectly for that. So I'll give it a 10. All right. How about for Point of No Return?
I'm going to give it a 9.5 because if this is like the setup for the setup, this isn't even the setup for the final act yet. Like, this is like the catalyst for the setup to the final act. So I think I'm going to give it a 9.5 just because, again, the factor of it made me feel like, ugh. I didn't feel right. Like, there was the moment where they were about to torch the inside of the house. I felt so, especially like with what's going on in the world right now. I was just like, I feel that, like, this is too real. And like it didn't take me out of the immersion, but I couldn't help but thinking, I couldn't help but notice it. And I was just like, this isn't really an escape right now. And I kind of want my Star Wars to be somewhat of an escape. Like, I know the world's a shitty place, and like this art should always reflect that. Art should always reflect life. Always should always reflect real life. But at this time, I was just like, God, this is a double whammy here. I'm struggling, bro. Like, give me some little bit of hope, please.
Fair enough. I'm gonna give it a 10.5 just because I love bad things, I guess. No, it reminds me of Andor, to be honest. Obviously, same type of situation, but it is very dark. It's very disturbing. But I think it does. We get a lot of fun, silly episodes in this series. This is one that really goes overboard and hammering home just where we are in the galaxy at this moment. The fall of the Jedi, the rise of the Empire, the rise of the Emperor. We are at probably one of the worst places in the galaxy's history, in the galaxy's timeline. There's very little resistance to this evil that's taking over the galaxy, and this showcases that perfectly. And yet, we have hope. We have hope. We have Omega, who is doing the right thing, standing up for what she believes in, doing the best that she can, and she's alive and she's ready to help take Tantus down. You need the darkest moments before the dawn, and this did exactly what it needed to be. Sometimes they don't go too far enough to be a dark moment before the dawn. This is a dark moment before the dawn.
Look to my coming on the first light of the second day, right?
Absolutely, and it's going to be Hondo. All right. Let's go back to our final segment there. We call this one Force Vision.
Premonitions?
This is where we take something from the episode or episodes, as the word today, and we look forward to the future and see what's going to happen. We're going to speculate responsibly. We're going to try to speculate responsibly. It's not always an easy thing to do. Obviously, when we do this for one, we're not going to do this for both episodes because it makes no sense. So, Matty, what is your Force Vision?
I'm going to let go of the driver's seat of speculation a little bit here because I'm now like, I just want to wait and see what happens next. The one thing I do really want to see, give me an enemy at the gate style sniper versus sniper fight between CX and Crosshair.
You're speaking my language. You got a little bit of Ed Harris in there. You're speaking my language. Ed Harris playing CX2. I like that. That's good.
I see Ed Harris playing Hemlock.
No, I could see actually in real life thing. Absolutely, he could. Completely could. I it's hard for me to speculate without going into the further like abject speculation that isn't something we speculated on previously. Because everything we've kind of been leading up to is the final end game, and we kind of spoke about it. Like, I believe. Are we going to see Asajj at the end of the series before the end of the series is over? I kind of think that way at this point. I'm going to say that Asajj is going to come back and help out. I think Emery is going to find Omega, and I think Emery's going to leave Tantus. I think Emery will leave Tantus herself and bring the location to somebody, whether it be Fee or whether it be the batch itself. And we're going to see the cavalry come in terms of Rex and Echo and everybody else. Everybody's going to. When they said the cavalry's coming, we're going to get everybody. I think everybody. I feel like there's a wrap up of the clone story and the Clone Wars story to a degree. I think if we do have an Asajj series later on, it's about the path. That's going to be more about the future of the Jedi. This is about the end of the Clone Wars. We're going to get almost all the characters in there at some point. And it's going to be a big battle at the end, big finale. So not much of a speculation. I'm not going to lie. I think it's kind of easily predict there's going to be a big battle at the end of when it says the cavalry is going to coming, but that's what I'm going with this week, my friends. All right, how about you? Anything last on these episodes before we sign off?
It's been a bit of a longer one because we had the 2 episodes, but I think this was a really good discussion this week as well. I think we really like with these more like deeper character development episodes and these deeper episodes. I think you and me like really like to get into the nit and gritty of things. Not the dark and gritty. There's some people like to throw around those terms these days, but this has been a really good discussion this week. I think we've really cracked on a lot. So
agreed. All right, guys. Said at the beginning, I like this. If you like this episode, hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let us know. Find our new Holy Snokes podcast. We have the podcast feed, which this episode is not on yet because I'm still migrating over the old episodes, although I'm getting closer. I'm getting very close. Pretty soon, Holy Snokes is where the only place you find Holy Snokes, not just in the PLD Projects Network feed. Staying right where it is on YouTube. If you like that, though, again, rank us, rate us, give us that algorithm help. We could really use it. If you can help out even further, patreon.com/PLD Projects. Great crew, Jeff Alterman, Austin Goodell, Brandon Buckingham, great crew over there. Great chat going on Facebook. Do some extra content over there as well. But if you can't, I get it. Totally get it. I completely understand. We are actually getting good subscription at this point. We're at about 560, 562, somewhere around there. So
it's because we said we do the watch along.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it is. We're getting there. We're getting there, folks. Let's aim for 1,000. We'll go for 600 first, though. So just help us out in that way. Help us out any way you can. I really do appreciate you guys. Stay tuned next week. We get to see another Bad Batch episode. I wonder what's going to happen next. I don't know. I'm excited. All right, my friend. Until where can the folks find you? Actually,
you can find me there on all social media. The handle's the same. At Mourner Band. I'm going to be making an announcement next week, so stay tuned for that. And also, speaking of announcements, long awaited, your goth girlfriend's favorite MMA podcast is coming back for one night only. The ONU MMA show is going to be returning next week. We're still working out the date and everything because we all have things going on in our lives for coverage of UFC 300, which is next weekend. So we're going to be returning, all three of us, hopefully, fingers crossed, and
nice.
that's going to be a wild one. It's going to be one you do not want to miss.
Very nice indeed. You can find me at PaulInsGordon0 on Twitter. You can find me all over this channel, PLD Projects. We do too different white dudes on film with PJ Campbell. I go through franchise films, usually horror. We are ending up with Never Hike Alone 2, a fan film from Womp Stomp Films that closes out the Friday the 13th run through we've been doing. I got Crown Jewels every week on the sister YouTube channel, Crown Jewels. We're talking about Queen songs this week. I didn't get to do Jealousy last week like I thought. I had to change the schedule. So we're going to do Jealousy this week. Then we'll get into Bicycle Race next week. A little bit of shadow things happen.
I want to ride my bicycle.
That is next week, absolutely. And then, of course, you have Lego and I do review our show on V, the other sci-fi franchise of the 80s. And I think that'll do it. But like I said, always, and stay tuned. May the force be with you guys. We'll see you next week. Peace out, man. May the force be with you. Always. May the force be with you. Always.